punches are not made, they are born.
These charges are in connection with the sexual assault.
Ferocious, I want your heart, I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah. I was going to rip his heart out, I'm the best ever.
Fame, money, power, he had it all, yet something was missing. Something that no amount of success could fill. Mike Tyson, the youngest heavyweight champion in history. A man who struck fear in his opponents before they even stepped into the ring. But behind the fame, behind the knockouts, was a broken man. He lost control. Money, women, drugs. Nothing filled the void. And then, in the darkest place of his life, he discovered the light of Islam. His life was a brutal story of poverty, crime, and violence. Born on June 30th, 1966, Michael Gerard Tyson grew up in extreme poverty. By the time he was just 7 years old, Tyson had already experienced more trauma than most people do in a lifetime.
I used to fly pigeons all the time, and then one day these guys found out where I had my pigeons, and one guy said, "You want your bird back?" And he just took the bird and he popped the neck. He threw him on the floor, and then I said, "That's the first time I ever had a fight." And I won.
He was frequently bullied because of his lisp and small size, but instead of retreating, he turned to violence as a defense mechanism. He learned that fear was power, and by the time he was 10 years old, he had already become infamous in his neighborhood for his uncontrollable rage and willingness to fight anyone who challenged him, becoming a criminal before becoming a boxer. At a young age, Tyson fell in with street gangs, committing robberies, burglaries, and assaults. By the time he was 13 years old, he had been arrested nearly 40 times for various violent crimes. He was a master at stealing, often targeting wealthier kids for their money and valuables.
I mean, the cunningness, to be able to outsmart somebody was a big thrill. Not just to go out there and beat a guy up and slam on the ground and take his wallet.
And he was sent to the Tryon School for Boys, a juvenile detention center. This was where his life took a dramatic turn. A former boxer and counselor, Bobby Stewart, noticed Tyson's incredible strength and guided him toward boxing. Stewart introduced him to Gus D'Amato, a legendary boxing trainer who became Tyson's mentor and father figure. D'Amato recognized Tyson's potential immediately. Tyson transformed from a street thug into a disciplined fighter, but even in the boxing gym, his rage remained unmatched. He knocked out sparring partners with ease, sometimes in the first few seconds. Gus D'Amato gave him structure, teaching him how to control his anger and use it in the ring. With a kill or be killed mindset, Tyson became a boxing machine, hungry for destruction. He was molded into a warrior, designed to annihilate anyone who stood in his way. But what led Mike Tyson to revert to Islam? In 1992, he was sentenced to 6 years in prison after being convicted of rape, though he maintained his innocence. He served nearly 3 years at the Indiana Youth Center, now Plainfield Correctional Facility. Prison was a humbling experience for Tyson. The man who once ruled the boxing ring with brute force and intimidation now found himself stripped of all his privileges. No expensive suits, no luxury cars, no screaming fans, just a cold prison cell and the reality of his situation. He struggled mentally and emotionally, feeling abandoned by many who had once been in his corner. It was during this time of reflection and solitude that Tyson began searching for meaning. He had always been exposed to different spiritual ideas, but prison forced him to truly confront his inner demons. He was introduced to Islam by fellow inmates. They spoke about discipline, self-control, and submission to the will of God. Mike Tyson read the Quran while he was in prison. Over time, he began reading about Islam, studying the life of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and reflecting on the principles of faith.
I read the Quran. I love the Quran. I live by the Quran. I'm a man. I make mistakes. Do I pray every day? No. Do I go to the mosque every day? No. Would I die for Allah? Yes. Is Allah in my heart? Yes. Do I love women? Yes. Do I love material goods? Yes. But Do I love Allah with all my heart? Yes.
In 1992, while still incarcerated, he officially embraced Islam and took the name Malik Abdul Aziz. The transformation was profound. Islam gave him a new perspective on life, helping him develop patience and self-restraint, qualities that had been missing from his past. Tyson later recalled that Islam provided him with inner peace in a place where chaos ruled.
So you just go through the motion for your own salvation. You explain to them about Islam and the way of Islam, how it is, wholeheartedly and truthfully. You know what I mean? Which there's no compulsion, there's no hatred. It's insane how different religions have different variations, and we're supposedly be the same under the same God, which is Allah. And it's just His salvation, His understanding. He enlightened me. You know what I mean? Before I became a Muslim, I've known Muslims all my life. You know what I mean? But I never had any inclination of becoming a Muslim because I didn't think their conduct was, I thought it was all hypocritical. But then when you run into people, individuality allows people to act certain ways, and certain people conduct themselves in other ways, and certain people conduct themselves in ways that are different from that. And I was just saying, a Muslim is just your conduct. And when you conduct yourself Islamically, and only God can judge you, basically. You know what I mean? Men judges men's action, God judges your heart.
He realized that his previous way of life, chasing material wealth, fame, and power, had only led to destruction. Faith became his anchor, guiding him through the challenges of prison and beyond.
You used to tell me your dream was to be the champ and to be the greatest champ.
Well, I'm talking about big dreams, like after fighting over the hell with the world, I have to live your life, raise your kids. But I don't got no big dreams like I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna be somebody important and outraged. Nah, man. Me being champ or me being a fighter, just being one of the guys.
After his release in 1995, Tyson continued to struggle with his past habits, but his belief in Islam remained a guiding force. Though his journey was not without setbacks, he frequently spoke about his faith and how it helped him navigate life's challenges. Mike Tyson's reversion to Islam is a testament to how faith can bring light even in the darkest of times. His story is not just about boxing, fame, or prison. It's about redemption, self-discovery, and the search for true peace.